Thursday, November 15th, 7 p.m. Roll call.
Mr. Martin?
Here.
Mr. Spence?
Here.
Mrs. Foreman's absent. Administrator?
Present.
Mayor's absent. Solicitor?
Present.
Fiscal officers present. Mr. Merriman?
Here.
Mr. Mattern?
Here.
Mr. Dakin?
Here.
Everybody stand for a moment of silence.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
approval of the regular meeting minutes.
I'll
So
put a
moved.
motion forward to approve the minutes from Thursday, October 17th, 2018.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakin?
Abstain.
Persons appearing or wish to speak before council. If you'd like to come up and state your name, please, ma'am.
Cheryl Wells, 424 Fernwood Road, Wintersville.
Okay.
Okay. I want to tell the council, I've been wanting to say something, and your meeting was held off, but I came in to talk to Walt about an issue on our road in front of our house. It was a big pothole that kept us up at night. So when I brought it to Walt's attention on a Thursday, they were so prompt about coming and taking care of that problem on Monday. And I do want to say it was Vernon and his crew that came out to do that job, and he actually worked with those men. He wasn't just a supervisor. So I want to acknowledge and tell the council how I appreciate that so much. It was just so prompt. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We appreciate that because it ain't a whole lot of times somebody wears that mic in. Thank you. It's always with the hammer in hand.
Anyone else like to appear before council? All right. No ordinances or resolution?
We have no ordinances or resolutions.
Mr. Hooker.
Almost.
He was gathering his notes.
Nice try.
We were trying.
Robert Lockhart, your representative to these various agencies within the county. I just have to discuss that with you tonight. Try and make it brief as possible. First, this is in connection with my attendance of the BHJ meeting yesterday on the 14th. And the main thing about that meeting was rather extensive, a lot of handouts with regard to, of which 3 or 4 items pertaining to projects, federal obligations, and some safety report for covering Brooke County and Hancock County, which I've given to our village administrator. I also have given him a 3-year copy of a road repair what do you call it, monitoring of the roads, both prior to, that's in the 3 counties representing a BHJ. Also, with regard to, and I mentioned it to Walt prior to, but 3 communities, Burgos, Empire, and Mount Pleasant, they've been the recipient of a guardrail restoration program where the state of Ohio has allocated a certain amount of money, over $1 million for the whole district, and they're going to put guardrails in on state routes within those communities. We don't have any benefit of that within our community, and I did check with Walt prior to this meeting, and so we just didn't get any benefit out of that program, but at least it's something the state's doing for local communities rather than 1 or 2 big communities getting all the benefits. With regard to the projects within the community, University Boulevard's wrapping up, the two landslides down in the lower edge of the county, they're under 90% completion. The project off of 22 going up the ramp to bottom of 213 on Route 7, the signalization has been completed. They're working for a power connection for the new service, the light service, and they have a turning lane off of 22 ramp going up 213. So that's been completed, almost completed. So that'll benefit trucks and cars trying to cross, getting into Route 7 north or south, because it's a short gap. Now they got the signalization will help traffic move a little better. With regard to 7 ranges, I went to that meeting last night, and other than a couple of resolutions that we passed, Scott Campbell has been voted in for another 2-year term, and he's our chairman at this time. He represents Cross Creek Township. With regard to the state, the first audit that we went through 7 ranges, and the fiscal officer, Kathy Colopy, really did an outstanding job in providing and cooperating with the state examiners. She compiled all of the data. She's really good at what she does and gave them all the information they needed. As a result, we had an outstanding audit for the first time, covering a period of from January 2016 through December 31st, 2017. So she did a very admirable job, and I think this council should know that she's representing 7 ranges and as a fiscal officer, but she's a very qualified person, and she really looks over the allocation of funds and monies, which is quite substantial, to the various fire departments. As far as Wintersville itself, Bob Harrington provided information regarding a couple of large grants he got respective to upgrading equipment within the fire department, Wintersville proper only. And he does a great job with regard to getting those grants. He's also looking at the use of drones within the community, and he's tested those already, which is a benefit case of a disaster in the area. This fire department or this fire district can utilize the information based upon what they retrieve from this drone. So he's trying that. He's also indicating that there's radio equipment that needs to be replaced down the road, and he's looking at grants for not only the whole district. So he does a heck of a job with regard to that stuff. And one thing I handed out tonight to the mayor wasn't here, but I gave it to Walt, and I gave one to Chris Becker, and it's regarding a Ohio Revised Code, and this will be given to each council member at my request for Denise to provide in your minutes. I didn't have time to copy them all because the cost is outstanding, and I don't get much pay, so I just kind of cut you all out. Other than that, it's basically this here, and it spells it out. Chris will look at it. Walt said he has some indication of what it is. It's been a revised code that if you have a fire structure and anything over $5,000 by the insurance company, up to 65% of a total loss, it is required now. The insurance company must surrender the check if it's a large loss to the municipality. And that's the reason behind it now is, and there's more details in there with regard to the responsibility of the insurance company, our county treasurer, and our municipality, what they must do with the money they get from an insurance company. And what it's doing, it's covering the municipality if a fire structure burns down 65 and it's total loss. Guy gets, the person, insuree, gets the entire check and leaves town. Meanwhile, you got a structure that's an eyesore community and everything else. Then we have to go through the process of getting it demolished, all that, and then put it on the tax rolls. And this here eliminates that so that the municipality has money to take care of taking that structure down. So it spells out the details with regard to what must transpire with regard to fire losses. And I gave that to respective people here so they can utilize it for whatever in the future. So at least we have a chance of not being burdened with the cost of tearing down a structure and then have to put it on the rolls. That's money out of our pocket.
I got
Go
a
ahead.
question on that, Bob, is it okay? If they submit a check to the municipality and they want to rebuild, the municipality turn that check back over to the homeowner?
If an individual wants to rebuild, they can do that. But this eliminates individual situations where they have a loss and leave town and don't do anything with it. That way, the insurance company temporarily, check goes in possession of, if the individual rebuilds, different story. It spells it out here, the steps. But at least
There's
the main
time
thing.
limits, we actually have a ordinance
Right,
that was in effect before the state law went into effect.
We used it this year.
And, yeah, and
Right.
we've used it.
Yeah, I know, over
Yeah.
We've been ahead of the curve on this here in the village, and I don't know who got the ball rolling on that. It's been maybe 10, 12 years.
yeah.
We'll say
It's
it was
been-
Bob
it's been
Merriman.
more
We'll
than
say it was
that.
Bob Merriman that got the ball
But
rolling.
now it's more specific and detailed
Right.
as to the treasurer, what the insurance has got to do, the treasurer's got to do, and everyone's got a certain steps to follow by state law now, so.
Yeah, there's certain things that the homeowner has to do if they're gonna rebuild
Right.
and get the money, and they have to do it within a certain time and all that. So it's spelled out in here, and just like in our ordinance, and, yeah, I forgot, was it this year we used that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
I just wanted to make sure, I didn't want to be a homeowner seizing their check and demanding, telling them what they're going to do with it. I don't like that, but if that's what you're telling me, then it's there, if they want to rebuild, then it's theirs to use.
Oh, you can do
Strictly a
that,
cut for
yeah.
demolition
Right.
is
Yeah,
the
if-
portion that we get.
Yeah,
Right.
we can't do anything other than demolish it.
Okay, all right.
You will get a copy of this, so you
Yeah.
can read, next week, you can discuss it further if you feel like it. Okay?
All right.
I appreciate it. Now, with regard to that was the main thing, is he brought that to our attention. I thought that would be a benefit to our community here, so I got your copies for your individual interest in that. Steel Valley Transit went to the meeting tonight just a short time ago, and the only thing is, good news is that the weekly run to Robinson Township will start as of December 1, and the individual will take care of not only that run, but the Saturday run, and it's a female. She opted to take the job. So you have that service now as of the Saturday run will still be on a telephone call-in request. If you have one individual, they have to commit to, so the service has to be provided to them. But the main thing is to start it now for people working, and this is starting early in the morning, and I do have a copy. It starts at 7:30 in the morning, and it continues throughout the day till 4 o'clock. And it here's a piece of paper which I will provide for the bulletin board, and I'll provide it when it's updated to Denise for you guys to have. But it's a great service now that we're going to be covering, and it spells out here, you can't see it, but this is where the stops will be during the daily run, from Eastern Gateway, the east side of Eastern Gateway, and then to the mall, then they go to Weirton Medical, and then continue on. It's all listed here. But that service is started. We finally got it in based upon the fact we got the CDL people that came in and showed an interest in getting the job. So that helps our community provide openings for individuals here if they work in Robinson Township or the surrounding area, because it takes a route, gets off, it goes, takes a right, goes south a short distance, goes over to Giant Eagle, you know where that is, I hope, and then goes to the mall, and it goes by the mall, comes around. It does not go to the, I call it the Western Mall, whatever that's called. It goes to Robinson. It doesn't go across the road. But people can get on a local transit service provided by Pittsburgh, and they can go over there or go downtown Pittsburgh. 7 o'clock in the morning, go down to Pittsburgh, come back on their bus service, and go home at our bus service. The cost will be $30 if you have, you buy that
Annual fee.
annual pass for $30, or it's $5 each way for an individual. That's $10 for a round trip. So maybe individuals will see, and this will be put out by EM Media in a press conference they will have, and they will also make sure that it's on their app with regard to all the scheduling and that we have that in the past. But everyone has an app with regard to download the schedule times, where the bus is actually at the time you call in. So it's all there provided for the future, which is good for our community. And our community overall in Wintersville is doing good in connection with the Saturday use and the overall use of the service and that. So it is a good benefit. But I'll get this updated and make it available to you guys, people. And also I'll have it put on the bulletin board down at the bottom of the stairs. Other than, the other problem is, not a problem, it's a shame, but Frank Bovina is retiring officially, our transit manager, at the end of this year. We have, as of tonight, elected the board to place in one of the employees that has extensive service within the Steel Valley Transit. He's going to be the interim manager until we hire a new manager down the road, with the search committee handling that matter. And the only other thing is it's for down the road, we're still looking at the possible utilization. It's done by a lot of schools and all, maybe bringing Frank back in, but he cannot come back in as a transit manager or their capacity. We're looking at the possibility of utilizing him as a financial planner, which will incorporate responsibilities of budgetary matters, overseeing a lot of financial aspects of the operation of Steel Valley. So that's in the future. That has been, we haven't voted on it yet, but we're looking at possibly utilizing his service down the road at a reduced income, of course, and a job at a financial amount. And he has full medical and benefits like that through his retirement at the state. So I think we'll have a good person in there. And the man that's in there now is a very qualified guy.
Is that Tim?
So, I'm sorry?
Tim, is Tim? Tim, the guy you
Yeah,
talking
Tim
about?
Turner.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tim
Yeah,
Turner is
I
his
know.
name.
He's a very good guy.
He had one time actually worked for Walmart. He was with Steel Valley, left. He's a mechanic by trade and background, but he went to Walmart and worked for them. That's at the distribution plant. But then he decided to come back to our Steel Valley, as a board member, come back to our services, and he's a qualified guy. You know, he's nice demeanor about him and all that. So
Super guy.
we approved, the board approved him and as of tonight. Let's see, as far as other than that, I think the big thing is about the bus service that we have here and set up, and I think it's going to be a benefit to the community, and I think down the road we have a good service going. There are some little squabbles in between here and there, but that's not out of the norm with regard to a public service. Other than that, any questions? I had to go through all three of the meetings, so it's a little
I
long.
question. I just wanted to follow up on what Bob said with 7 ranges. I actually brought up the audit report was not finalized at 2 meetings ago, and it was looking real good. Bob is here to report that it is finalized, and like I said earlier, the couple meetings ago, high praise towards Mrs. Colopy for what she does. She was used to work here. Every nickel was accounted for. Everything was in order and was very painless. So she's a very valuable asset to 7 ranges, without a doubt. Also, you talked about the drones. Rob, the Chief Harrington also talked about how there was talk that there was a hurricane that hit North Carolina. They were on call to go to North Carolina, fly the drones to evaluate possible lost individuals, missing individuals, damage assessments. I don't think they were able to make it to North Carolina. But Rob did talk additionally at one of those meetings about how they're flying them around here just to get the feel, how to work them and how to manipulate them and use them in real life situations. So Seven Ranges has really supported this area in a very nice fashion. The other thing you talked about with it kind of falls under the Jefferson County Regional Planning meetings, which I go to, was that guardrail. That was just restoration, right? It's not building new ones.
Oh, no, it's restoration, yeah.
Yeah, it's restorations. I think we gave that to Walt a couple meetings ago too, and it was
Yeah.
looking on into that. That's the way I understood it, was restoration.
Yeah, it's finalized now. They're actually passed, the communities, I asked specifically if all the communities in the Jefferson County were approached with regard to the program, and he indicated, Mike Paprocki indicated it was done, so.
Thanks, Bob.
All right, and one thing, he did go down to North Carolina.
Did they?
And he did see this operation of a drone by individuals quite handy or technically orientated toward utilizing a drone. And so that's all he sparked him. And he'll come out and he'll do all kinds of, he'll probably have $1 million
The way
drone.
things advance nowadays between drones and technology is incredible.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's just like, you can fly that where? And into these locations and in these certain environments,
Yeah.
weather conditions, it's amazing. It's good to have someone like Arrington there with these advancements.
Councilman Martin?
Yeah,
Oh,
I just wanted you to tell Frank, I appreciate all what you did for Wintersville. We, getting this busting and everything together, and our ridership is great. And I also want to make mention to your colleague there. She's another one of our representatives for Still Valley. Shirley Prentice works with him down there on Still Valley. Just in case some of you guys didn't know who she was, she's one of our representatives out of Wintersville to work with Bob down there. But
Yes,
that's all I have.
Charlene, by the way, has been designated this year as the vice president of the Board of Trustees. So, and she does an admirable job. She watches over me closely.
That's a big job.
Come on. Other than that, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Magistrates Court. For October, revenue was $9,399.30. To the village was $7605.23. State, $1271.61. Other, $522.46. We had 182 complaints, 308 incoming calls, 18 accidents, 25 cases, 18 alarm calls, 21 juvenile cases, 15 arrests, 7 others, 8 parking, 3 vehicle impounds, 6 AOOTs. Out of town assistance, okay. 1 dog bite, 31 auxiliary hours, 1 canine use. From old bills we collected in October, old fines, $770.21, which makes for a total of old fines through October, $19,515.49.
Hey, well, do you know how much is left on the old fines we have to collect? I know we've done a lot of collection. That would have to come from downstairs?
Yes. That'd have to come from downstairs.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. Building inspectors, we have 20 permits for 420, licenses for 600, total $1,020. Wintersville's Christmas Parade, November 25th, lineup at 2, starts at 3. Next week, the village office will be closed for Thanksgiving, November 22nd and 23rd, Thursday and Friday. Sanitation schedule Thursday will be on Wednesday, no change on Friday schedule. Administrator.
A couple applications submitted for next year to Public Works. Our paving application, Meadowbrook, Squirrel Hill. The paving on Meadowbrook will be similar to Beechwood. Total cost of this project is about $99,000. We also submitted a Public Works application for Phase 5 collection system. Be primarily Moon Valley, Rex area, and 2 lift stations. Be about $2.6 million. Third item on your list, I met with Dave Snelling down at BHJ. There is some federal aid secondary money, of which Caddis Road is eligible for that, possibly in 2021 or 2022. It's an 80-20 match. Federal pays 80. We have to come up with 20. Estimated cost is $764,000 for Caddis Road. When I came here in '04, that was the first paving job I did. It was cost $329,000 then. So as part of that, Meadowbrook and Squirrel Hills next year. Fernwood is on the list for 2020, and probably the back part of Luray, that will complete all of the village streets. Then we'll start over with Caddis in 2021 or 22, depending on when that funding's available. It'll get programmed through ODOT, and we'll proceed there that way. The Phase 4 sewer is basically completed. I think there might be one or two punch list items, but net savings to the village on this project was just over $300,000. The sheet below there, you can see we saved quite a bit on sewer replacement because the lining company that came in recamered all the lines, and they were able to do more lining. That's why you see an increase in that cost, but we saved over $400,000 on replacing lines in lieu of lining them. So instead of a almost $2 million project, we're about $1.7 million. So we're hoping to wrap that up at the end of the year. We had two demos through the regional planning that we completed this year at 252 Beechwood Boulevard and 116 Ellsworth. Next year, we hope to do 209 Beechwood Boulevard and 117 Sabina if all the legal hurdles get cleared from regional planning.
What were those two again?
209 Beechwood Boulevard and 117 Sabina. Our restroom project down below, they're 85% built as of 10/31. They're working on the inside fixtures now. Restoration and the seating, of course, will have to wait till next spring, but that's slowed down a little bit because of the weather, but we had no plans on opening it this year anyhow. I have two requests for funds. We did have a cost overrun on the Beechwood paving project due to the extremely poor subbase. We thought we were going to be able to do some different things there, and it was just much worse, and it would have cost significantly more. We added a little bit of thickness and did a couple trade-offs there, but I'm asking for $17,339. Funding will come out of 1,910-910. I guess I would need a motion for that.
I'll make the motion in that fund that you just named. What is that fund?
It's a transfer fund out of the general fund.
Okay.
Second?
Roll call.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenkall?
Yay.
Second item needed is a furnace unit for the police department downstairs. This is an emergency purchase. I had a call from Mr. Gunbar last Friday afternoon that is like 55 degrees downstairs. It also affects up here also. 15,000 is probably a little bit high estimate, but the furnace is ordered. They'll need to obviously bring a crane in to take the old one off and put the new one up. I don't have a date when it's coming yet, but the same 15,000, it probably won't be quite that much, but that again would come out of the 1,910-910.
Is this under our bid limit?
It's an emergency.
Okay. It's still under the bid limit though?
Yes, it is. It is.
Okay.
Do you need a motion on that too, Walt? Not
Yes.
to exceed 15,000?
Yes.
I'll make that motion not to exceed 15,000.
Second.
Can I ask how old the old unit was?
20 years, the heat exchanger is gone. He said if it would have been a newer furnace, he would probably try and replace the heat exchanger, but he said, being the age of this, they've already replaced the computer boards twice. It's served its useful life.
Not to exceed 15,000, I'm still on.
much.
Roll call.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Who are we getting that from?
Mr. Gunbar.
Okay.
Oh, Johnny's good.
Johnny.
Also, last day for leaf pickup is going to be Monday, November 19th. We're kind of struggling a little bit tonight because we have the leaf box on one of our plow trucks. But, you know, the leaves were late coming down this year, so we cannot afford to wait any longer. So we're one last pickup on Monday, and then they're going to switch over the last 2 trucks, actually. Just also noticed the Ray LeMan Christmas party is December 15th. From 10 to 11:30, and even though it is in the budget, we make a $500 donation that comes out of 1,310-650. I would like to get council approval for that since it is $500.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yeah.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Degenkolb?
Yay.
Then, at the end of the meeting, I would like to request an executive session for possible litigation.
Unfinished business?
I have none.
Anybody else? New business, Robbie. Mr. Martin.
New business, I just want to thank Bob and Brad for coming over and helping me out with the Halloween party here not too long ago. And also I'd like to thank the girls in the front office for printing up all my flyers, and Denise, you know, keeping me straight on all the financial things, and all the police department for coming over, attending, helping out, making sure everything was safe. It was a very nice, successful night. We had about 170, 180 kids, and it's really a packed house. So it was a real nice program. All the kids did enjoy themselves, and I just want to give these guys thanks for helping out. Okay. That's all I have, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Spence?
First, I'd like to thank Mrs. Wells for coming and giving us praise. We usually don't get that. And let me see, I found out we had another, I think we had another police officer leave the police department. Now, I've never had the opportunity to work with the personnel committee. What do they do? I mean, here, like our personnel committee. I mean, I never had a chance to work with them. And the reason why I'm asking is because I was doing some looking, in the last 3 years, we've hired 9 people on the police department. 11 people, and we have 9 that have left for some reason or another. Now, sure, it's probably mostly money, but we don't have any other departments like that. But if you look at the cost of, say, you know, you get your polygraph, your physical, your vest, your background check, you're looking at between, you know, $1,000, $2,000. So in the past 3 years, we've probably spent a minimum of $9,000 to a maximum of $18,000 just on hiring new policemen. So since the budget season's coming up, that may be a good idea to look at that. Or if the personnel committee can check and see why we have such a high turnover rate, if it's other than money. Because any good business wants to know why your turnover rate's that high. It could be, you know, I don't know, anything from hostile work environment to bad management to no money. So I think it'd be a good opportunity to check into, try and save the taxpayers some money.
I will say on behalf of the Finance Committee that we do discuss those kind of issues in that finance as we're going to move forward. So we'll soon be having some finance meetings, and I'm sure that those topics would be at least addressed, and some of those and should be brought up rightly so. We're in a difficult situation.
Right.
You're aware of how
Right,
much
exactly.
we can pay, but those are some valid answers that we should be able to discuss at a finance meeting. I'm sure, Bob, you're still.
Yeah, that should be the week after Thanksgiving. We should be getting into the budget.
Because over 3 years, between, you know, $9,000 and $18,000, that could be used for something else instead of, you know, sitting there going
It's in
through.
the Public Works Department too, and it's primarily money, but that's, I hate to say it's not the Personnel Committee's decision on hiring any employees.
Well, yeah, I just want to know what they did,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not saying who they hired,
I'll-
I just want to know what they did, that's all.
Councilman Murray?
I want to elaborate on that. You know, basically, Randy, I mean, I've been in a personnel committee off and on throughout the 20 years I've been here. Basically, when we have a personnel committee with the rank and file up here, we deal with those. Any front office, we deal with those along with Walt. You know, most of those things, reason we don't come to the committee, it goes to the proper foremans, then it goes in Walt's office, he handles those things. And if it don't get handled there, then it get passed down to us. But as far as the police department downstairs, that's the chief. He's their head of them down there. Obviously, if it's a problem down there that he can't handle, then it comes to us. That's how it works. We don't get involved in any of the police matters when it comes to personnel, only when the department heads can't handle those. Then it comes down to the personnel committee to get it settled. Like I say, if an individual down there
Right.
would have
Yeah,
a problem and
yeah, I
get
understand
it
how that
settled,
works.
then it comes to us. That's
I
how
was just
come-
trying to
yeah.
look at the cost.
Yeah, well,
effectiveness.
as far as the
That's all.
cost, I understand where you're going, and I
Yeah.
think it was brought up, and we're just gonna put some kind of stipulations in there where if a new officer come, we training, if he leave before X number of
Right,
years,
exactly.
then he has to pay back whatever training costs to
Right.
the village. So that is a good point.
Yeah, so we just
I
trying to
think
save
we
the
started
village some
on that.
money.
Yeah, I think we started on that, but, you know, when it comes, something, we can't keep them here. But once, if we can establish, put some kind of protection in our hiring process, if you leave before this time, and we train you and invest in you, and you leave before 2 years or 3 years, then that is a possibility, we could do something like that. We would have to take that up with Chris Becker and see if that's legal or not. I don't know.
Mr. Madden?
Is
New business.
Mr. Spence done?
Yes, I'm done,
Oh,
thank you.
Sorry.
Fine.
Sorry, Randy.
Wanted to follow up with, Rob said something about Halloween. We still do it the old-fashioned way where they show up in the front yard. And we had a very good turnout. What was also very good was representation that Wintersville Fire Department and Wintersville Police Force had out there to keep everybody safe on the streets. So hats off to all those that way. Prayers for Phyllis Foreman. Second thing, the next thing I have is Church Street Commons complex. There's like a runoff problem coming down off of Church Street and by the old dry cleaner coming down the road and wiping off a road around the side of the Church Street Commons down there. Mr. Morelli was to contact Gail and yourself on that.
Has not.
Expect a phone call coming then. It's just whenever it rains down there, it gets washed off. You just
Water
put a bunch of
runs
slag down there. I don't know what we can do,
Water
if
runs
we can
downhill.
curb it or
What are we gonna
something.
do with that?
But it's a bunch of water running off down our streets and our roads, wiping out his driveway. So whatever happens, that happens.
He's downhill, but
Yeah.
we'll look at it.
I know we have done things in the past. Somebody put a storm drain out there on that road too. So there's got to be an easy solution to
It's not
this.
an easy.
Any efficient one, you know,
Okay.
cheap.
Dig it up. Put something in.
Yeah, but that's his responsibility.
Mrs. Wells brought up Vern Jackson being a great employee. I just wanted to say, last Saturday I got a phone call from my daughter who just left my house. She's crying. She said she was in an accident, all right? You knew right away, right at the end of the street. I go up there in 1 minute and I could diagnose right away. Nobody's hurt. It's just an accident. But Officer Kosicki shows on up. Kosicki shows up. He handled the situation with professionalism. He handled it with urgency, and he handled it with care. He handled it the way I expect every employee of Warnerville to handle a situation like that. And hats off to Vern Jackson. Hats off to Officer Kosicki as well. Kosicki. Safe travels tonight. It's getting a little slippery. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Degenkolb?
The only thing I had, Walt, 117 Sabina was 2019, because I had a follow-up question on that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, again,
Possible
This
20,
is dependent upon regional planning. I don't think there's as much problem with Sabina as there is with a property on Beechwood
I
due to the
understand.
bank and something else, but they're working through that.
great. The other question I had for Walt, Forest Street, the trash on that, it was a few weeks ago, since I last spoke to you.
There
It
was
was
a
like
court
1:30.
today.
Yep.
They met, I believe, downstairs in the conference room, the mayor, the code officer. I do not know the outcome of that, but I'm imagining they hopefully agreed to clean it up. I think they were to bring some of the mattresses up, throw them in our dumpster compactor. I'm not sure about what the rest of the stuff was there, but
Yeah.
it was handled today. I know, it did not come up here to the courtroom. I think they handled it downstairs and with an agreement.
Okay. It's been a few weeks since I've spoken with them and a few weeks since we've been here, so I just wanted to follow up on that. It was back in October. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Okay. Okay. Health insurance, we're gonna have a health insurance meeting Wednesday at 2 PM. I'd like, if anybody can make it or cannot make it, could you please give me a call by Monday, sometime Monday?
What is that?
That's Wednesday before Thanksgiving?
Health insurance?
Yes, 2 PM. Okay. Transfers?
Yes, I need a motion to approve a transfer I had to do from the general fund to the permissive fund in the amount of $16,200. Back in April, I had gotten the state real estate taxes in and inadvertently posted it in the permissive fund. And when I went to reallocate it, we had spent that amount of money, so. But it's being reallocated back, a portion of it, a good portion, $11,194.57 of that back to the general fund. And then the police levy, both police levies and the police pension fund will get a portion as well.
Well, you was talking that way.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I couldn't hear you. About
Okay, I-
the allocation of 16,000, you say it's going to come back in?
$16,200, correct. It was state real estate, general property real estate tax. We had gotten in April. I had posted it in the permissive fund. I didn't catch it until October, what I had done.
Okay.
And when I went to reallocate the money, I had already spent that amount. So I just need to take it back, and then it's
Okay, I
going to
got
be
you.
put back into the proper funds.
Okay.
I'll make a motion to approve that transfer.
Second.
Any questions? Roll call?
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenholt?
Yay.
Payment of bills.
So, like,
Second.
Any questions? Roll call.
Mr. Martin?
yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Other than an abstention on 40470, yay.
And Mr. Dakenholt?
Yay.
So we need a motion to move into executive session for personnel.
Yes.
Possible litigation.
Possible litigation. Possible litigation.
Second. You did, didn't you?
Jason made a motion.
You made
I
a
gave a motion. You gave a second, right?
Okay.
Someone say second?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenholt?
Yay.
Oh,
I'd like
well,
to
I
motion,
think
make a
about-
motion
I
to
think
come out of
about-
executive session.
So moved. Second.
I know. I'm
Mr. Martin?
What did you just say? It's come out.
Mr. Martin?
Yes. Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Everybody.
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenholt?
Yay.
Also, make a motion for the solicitor to prepare the release form regarding 125 Orchard.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. Spence?
Yay.
Mr. Merriman?
Yay.
Mr. Mattern?
Yay.
Mr. Dakenholt?
Yay.
Limit on that?
Oh, we already did, 700.
700.
Not to
700.
exceed 700. Okay. Yeah, we don't really, yeah.
Okay.
We're just paying what he asked for, that's.
Meeting adjourned to the next meeting, December 6th, 7 o'clock.